Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Awakening with Sarah. I'm your host, Sarah Adams, musician and transformational life coach, bringing you powerful wisdom, helpful tools, and inspiring music to support you on your journey of awakening. In this episode, we are going to discuss the importance of surrender on the journey of awakening. And I know when this information was channeling through this morning, it deeply supported me in getting clarity about the nature of this great time that we are all going through. And it is a time of radical transformation in rather quick succession. And the analogy was given of a puzzle. And I really had a lot of fun as this was coming down from my higher self. And I really hope that this episode nourishes you as much as it did me. Okay, without further ado, we'll get started. At the beginning, there's a bit of bumbling because I just woke right up and channeled this from my dream time, which is often when I feel like I get the very best information. Anyway, but that stops rather quickly, and the rest of the episode is nice and clear. So I hope you enjoy. All right, here we go. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Awakening with Sarah. I'm your host, Sarah Adams, musician and transformational life coach, bringing you powerful wisdom, helpful tools, and inspiring music to support you on your journey of awakening. In this episode, we are going to discuss the importance of surrender on the journey of awakening. And I know when this information was channeling through this morning, it deeply supported me in getting clarity about the nature of this great time that we are all going through. And it is a time of radical transformation in rather quick succession. And the analogy was given of a puzzle. And I really had a lot of fun as this was coming down from my higher self. And I really hope that this episode nourishes you as much as it did me. Okay, without further ado, we'll get started. At the beginning, there's a bit of bumbling because I just woke right up and channeled this from my dream time, which is often when I feel like I get the very best information. Anyway, but that stops rather quickly, and the rest of the episode is nice and clear. So I hope you enjoy. All right, here we go. So I just did this entire talk about like ego death or ego surrender that enables us to be remade by the hand of God. And I was talking about the puzzle pieces. I was talking about the puzzle and how we keep, we put together a compromised version of the puzzle at the personality matrix level where the mind is in full guardianship. And that version of the puzzle is a very compromised matrix of fear-based and mental tyranny and strong ego. And then as we move more toward carrying the light and fully embodying the light of God, that puzzle, if we think of it as a puzzle, right? A version of the puzzle. You got the puzzle box, which has the actual version of our divine blueprint. And the puzzle box that God created in the puzzle shop, right? And the egoic consciousness at the personality matrix level is a very compromised version of that puzzle. It's like, oh my God, it's like not, the pieces are not put together correctly at all. If you think about having all the full potential pieces of that God puzzle, which is probably like, I don't know, 5,000 pieces, right? You got all these pieces, and a lot of them are put together wrong. You know, they're cheaply made, and in the womb, there's all kinds of trauma and tons of pieces. You know, the dog's face ends up on the cat's butt, and the the turkey's feather ends up in the river, and the river ends up on the mountain, and the mountain ends up in the whatever, and there's this one big huge, you know, glue. When they come to, they come together, they look like they're coming together. You know, have you ever seen like a really cheap puzzle, and a lot of the pieces go together? They don't necessarily, they're not the ones that really go together, but they go together because it's a cheap puzzle. Well, coming to planet Earth, you know, in this descending matrix, it's like you come out of the womb and you're a cheap puzzle that's put together like very compromised. It's not it's not your divine blueprint, right? Almost nobody is born in their divine blueprint, especially in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. Now, coming into this time that we're in now, we have children that are coming in pretty close to their divine blueprint. I mean, pretty close. But I'm speaking to adults here that have ears to hear me, and most of them are born in some kind of a compromised version. Right? It's like the earth could not handle real versions coming in. I was born in 1965. When I was coming in, the earth could no way handle anything close to the divine blueprint incarnating. It wouldn't accommodate it. So anyway, okay, where was I? So the puzzle, right? So if this puzzle is indeed put together in the compromised way, at a certain point, we're going to have like a hammer come hit the puzzle and shatter the pieces, right? It's going to have to happen. It's not going to, because we're going back home to our divine blueprint, right? And so ego death, right? Ego death. The one who feels like it's in control in time and space is going to get a hit. They're going to be pulled out of the driver's seat for a minute there, so the whole puzzle can come apart. And some people spend most of their entire life just weakening the false bonds so that they can die. And then in the next life, the bonds are weak enough that they can come back in a better version, right? Well, that's the slow version of reincarnation. But right now, we are on the lead up to planetary ascension. And there is no choice in the matter. If you are staying on the earth, you are becoming a being that can hold a lot more light than you did when you were born, right? You are being pulled by the hand of God, the hand of evolution, the great return. You're being pulled into an ever higher version of yourself. Okay. So what does this look like? This looks like a series of ego deaths, right? Now, some people are going to have near-death experiences where the whole puzzle, the entire, everything in the puzzle is just shattered and you start completely anew. And that's amazing because you come back reconfigured at a much higher state. But most of us in time and space, held by this ego illusion, in this financial slavery that's still in place, and in this grid of separation consciousness where we are in survival, trying to make money in time and space, you know, most of us in the human race are going to be slowly and progressively unfolded into an ever greater version of ourselves. That's the most gentle way. Now, my life has not been gentle. I've been 39 plus years in the underworld, in full uh, interface with my God consciousness and the AI control matrix of this dimension. And I just exited that matrix 2 days ago. So for me, I'm standing with an empty puzzle box, and there's a board with no pieces put together. I'm being fully remade in the image of the divine blueprint. So my case is kind of crazy. I know there's some of you out there that are going through this as well, right? Whew. But most of us are going to find ourselves in some kind of a continuum of having a role on the earth that we play, that we're comfortable with, and then all of a sudden a force starts to exert itself. This is not where we're supposed to be. There's a higher destiny. We have to follow this call of the heart, right? We have to do some different job. We've got to employ our creativity. There's something more expansive. There's something more filled with freedom codes, right? This is the higher self saying, oh boy, this matrix is too small for us. We don't fit it anymore. We've got to evolve. Now, when this happens, there's always some sense of discomfort because you have to unplug from the previous level, right? This beautiful image of the puzzle that was right there, this was your life and this was you, it now has to be kind of taken apart. It's like, oh, okay, here comes the hammer. This thing's going off. We're taking this thing offline, right? And then we're left with, now we get to put a few more pieces in the puzzle that were in the box are now going to get to come into this new version of the puzzle. Isn't that cool? Right? So we've got more pieces included, and we're getting a version of the puzzle that looks a little bit more like the box now. Now we still might have the dog's butt in the cat's head, and the rooster's feather stuck in the barn door. I mean, there's still things that are not ideal, but this is our next level, right? So we celebrate this next level. How do we navigate at this next level? There may be new rules. There may be new experiences. We're going to be doing journaling, and we're going to be doing art, and we're going to be soul searching to integrate these new puzzle pieces, right? And then we get comfortable there for a time, and then the heart calls again. Oh no, oh no, the heart's calling. Oh darn, looks like this is ending now. And then, maybe it's a relationship even that you can't be in anymore because the parameters of it lock you down. And now you're going for a more expansive version. More of the pieces in that puzzle box are going to become animated and a part of your consciousness. Okay, so here comes the axe, or the anvil smashes the puzzle again. Bam, all the pieces are shattered. And you get to go back to the motherboard, to the box, and grab more pieces. And so during that time where you're integrating more pieces, your DNA is reconfiguring, the who's in control in your consciousness is changing. Your mind is surrendering to the divine feminine, right? Its grip on reality is getting less and less. Its grip as the controller of reality, let's put it that way. The sense that you have a separate self is starting to weaken. It's like, wait, no, I'm part of a bigger plan. And now the picture's starting to look good. We don't have any animals whose bodies are mutated, or, we've got the river's not in the sky. All the pieces of the river are now in the river. But they may be, the Whitewater Rapids might be down where the smooth river is supposed to be. And now the mountains we got all the mountain pieces together, but now the apex of the mountain is down where the valley floor is. And, but we've got all the sky pieces together, and all the flower pieces are together. And all the animals seem to be animals. Oh, it looks like the cat still has a dog's tail, but at least the mammals are mammals, right? So, it's looking good. And now we're up in, we got to go through a lot of ego death to reconfigure that thing, right? So we're going to be feeling lost. We're going to be feeling challenged. We're going to be calling intuitives and psychics to tell us, how's that going to work? How am I going to do that? Where am I moving to? Where's my soul family? Right? This is when we start really questioning. When the puzzle is shattered and the box is opened and the new pieces are coming in, that's when we feel the most lost. But that's also when we're in the time of the greatest growth, right? I Ching, crisis is opportunity, right? The whole ray that is governing the evolution on planet Earth is the green ray, and that is harmony through conflict. Now, that doesn't mean that has to be the way it always is. I think we're moving into a time where we're going to evolve through joy, through just ease and love and abundance. But a lot of the misconfigured pieces are going to have to be reconfigured before we're able to evolve through ease and joy. Right now, we're still on the harmony through conflict for most humans, right? Most human egos are not surrendered to God. They're not just like, oh, excuse me, cosmic reset. Let me just lay down and let you make me anew. I'm almost at that point. Almost. I mean, I knew I wasn't going to die at the party. I knew, oh, cosmic reset. I'm going to another level. But I was still really resisting it. My ego was going, I don't want to. I can't breathe. I can't, and but the more we learn to gracefully surrender to change and to know it's taking us to a more beautiful place, the more we evolve through joy. What a concept, huh? But we have to let go of that belief that suffering takes us closer to God, right? Because if we have that belief, then we're going to try and magnify suffering in order to make those puzzle jumps, right? Those quantum jumps. We're going to be, oh, I got to magnify the suffering to the max. When really we don't. All we have to do is let the higher heart pull us out of our matrix, feel the trauma that's there. There may be lifetimes of trauma, but we don't have to wait around in all the suffering. We just need to say, oh, trauma died. Oh, trauma abandoned. Oh, trauma exploded. Oh, whatever. All we have to do is just account for the trauma, let it enter for a moment, and then dissolve it right back into light. It's that easy. It's that easy when you're not resisting change. You just envelop that part in your arms. You stop and cry with it. You stop and explode with it. Whatever it needs you to do for it to return to the puzzle, you do it. Bringing in more pieces. And then you celebrate. Whoa, I'm being remade anew. What's this new version going to look like? Awesome. And you find your friends that are in that place being made anew, and you compare your puzzles and you go, cool. And you make a podcast episode and you say, hey guys, check it out. This is cool, right? Just taking a deep breath now. And so, I firmly believe the whole planet right now, we are going back to unity consciousness, which means we are becoming the puzzle. We're becoming the lid, the picture on the lid of the box that came from the God puzzle inventory divine blueprint of our beingness. We're not going to stop at any compromised position on the way. So where were we? We were at the point where the grass is the grass, the mountain is the mountain. The dog's tail is still on the cat, but all the animals are basically animals. So now the clarity of our vision in time and space of what role are we truly serving is getting clearer, right? We're probably able to manifest financial abundance now because we have some sense of how to present ourselves in time and space. Whereas before, when we were the full-on Picasso chaos, trying to do everything, not knowing where anything was or how we would do it, our website remains empty and people can't see us on the planet. We're not even visible. Now I'm talking about myself, right? Not all of us have this total destruction of the puzzle. Most of us have some kind of a version that works pretty well for us, that we can find a job and support ourselves financially, right? Most of us are fitting into this Western grid, which is totally unnatural to a Christed being, but most of us have egoic coordinates that are comfortable. You know, we have a family, we have children, we have a life. I've never had any of that, but I do have a home and a husband and a cat. But nothing. I could be wrapped around no agenda here to be able to bridge back into Andromeda and host Divine Mother's return to the earth. I could not be connected to almost nothing. My puzzle's been in the total unput together state for 39 years. It's only just now, you know, I've got the guardian of Christ over my puzzle, and I'm starting from square one, basically, right now. So this whole earth and all humanity are returning to this great divine blueprint, right? And it is going to involve ego death, ego reconfiguration, ego surrender. And so if we know this, that is what this time is about, we don't have to be afraid, right? As a spiritual midwife, I can help in this process tremendously. I mean, it's what I do. Being an expert at ego death. Absolute expert. I'm a valedictorian, PhD level expert at ego death. I wonder, like, yeah, if I asked my guys, like, how many times has my ego had to be completely dismantled? It's in the 40s. 42? 42. Which is interesting because that's the number of detachment in the gene keys. The gift of detachment. The shadow is attachment. The gift is detachment. And the highest frequency is celebration. So celebrating that as we're being reconfigured, it is beautiful, right? We will know more bliss, more joy, more celebration. Celebrate as we come into the reunion and celebration with our core soul family, as our lives change and become maybe more unstable as we're being guided to our new land-based communities with our core soul group. I know one of mine's in Kauai, one of mine is in the Pacific Northwest. It's beginning to feel like Washington now. And one of mine is in Grass Valley. Those are the three nodal points where my particular core soul group, right, is gathering. And so we're going to gather this great network as this body of unity rises. Everyone who brings each other the most joy, the most celebration, the most ecstasy, the most wonderfulness is meant to be together, right? It's a no-brainer. So we're all going to start finding each other, those that lift each other up the most. Our soul family, right? We've been polished like rocks in a rock tumbler through this incredible time of adversity. And we're all going home to each other to celebrate, dance and sing and co-create, raise food and live together and love together. And I mean, one of the questions I have, because, you know, I fall in love with everyone I see practically. I once fell in love with a fish while waiting for my food at a seafood restaurant. Oh no, I was waiting to be seated at the restaurant and I fell in love with a fish. He looked into my eyes and that was it. I actually felt sad when I was leaving the restaurant. I mean, there's this sense of in loveness with all that is. But I still feel like sexual polyamory is not gonna be the best way. It really still gets messy with a lot of astral cords. I think monogamy is the best way. until the planet is fully ascended into unity. At the point where we have unity consciousness over the whole planet, that's when we can be, making love with everyone. But there's something that happens in sexual exchange that it puts cords on the root chakra, right? And that makes it messy. It's harder to anchor the Christ consciousness when you're feeling some jealousy or some envy, like, he slept with her and I haven't slept with him. And I, all that possessiveness that comes in sexual relationships. And, we could do a whole podcast on this because some people feel like polyamory is the highest way. And I'm not going to say for some people, perhaps it is. I know that the level of rehabilitation that my soul is involved in, I need a monogamous partner to mirror for me the sacred marriage of Christ consciousness in one container, one place, just two people weaving and dancing the DNA into this merged field. And if we allow others into that merged field at the sexual level, it slows things down. It causes drama. Yeah, so I won't say too much about that. So when I say loving each other, for me, that means dancing, singing, snuggling, massaging. That means all the ways we love each other, but not sexually. So there you go. I'm sure I'll have some comments about that because a lot of my friends believe that polyamory is the highest way. And I believe it is once we're in unity consciousness, but we've got a ways to go. Most of us are being deeply rehabilitated, which means we've got inner child wounds that need someone to hold us in a place of safety and love so that we can heal those places. And yes, ultimately we are all God, sovereign, free beings. But until this planet Earth is holding her divine sacred marriage, I think the greatest path is to either stay single and work on the sacred marriage within your own being, or to get married and work on the sacred marriage with one person that you devote and dedicate the work to, right? And celebrate through the sexual interaction, the divine reverence of this great architecture that is the man and the woman, that is the electro and the magnetic, that is the light and the sound merging as one. Okay, so that was a lot. So, and I spoke kind of quickly, so I'm going to kind of just have us take some deep breaths. And, you can comment. You can always comment on this podcast. You can message me at Sarah Hope Adams on Instagram, or even send me emails with questions. I might start doing the feature of question and answer. That would be good, because then I can ask questions and find out who out there is going through this, right? And in what way are you going through this ego dismantle so that your higher self can take you to the higher shore, right? That's another beautiful metaphor, is that we're like ships, right? And we're moored to the dock when we're in a certain identity, a certain plateau. That's when we feel like everything in our life is going along. We know who we are, we know what we're doing, we know where the money's coming from, and we're doing our thing. Now with COVID, that unmoored the entire ship of humanity. So that was a massive unmooring so that humanity could get to the higher shore, right? And when we're unmoored, we're pulled into the open sea. Now, when we're in the open sea, we don't know where we're going. We can't see the shore, right? But we have to have faith that something higher is guiding us. Something higher is holding us in its arms. That ocean is made of Divine Mother. and Divine Father's love. And if we can just have faith, we will be carried to that higher shore, right? And then we may plateau at a little shore on the way home to our God consciousness, where we think, oh, okay, everything's better now, and I'm on a shore, I'm doing something. And then bam, puzzle pieces are exploded because we need more. We need to get the ones in the box. And we're going to be out on the open sea again, unmoored. We're going to fight to keep that rope on the dock. No. Sometimes, right? The more we fight to stay on the dock with the rope to the dock, the more we will suffer. You just want to surrender. Oh, I'm going to a higher shore. Let's let that rope go. Tell the body it's okay. It's okay. Change is not death. Change is change. You're going to be okay. And then we get more puzzle pieces coming into the box on that open sea until we get all the pieces back and we are in the divine blueprint. The unity logos has returned and been restored on the whole earth, and it is sending us the instruction sets to put the final level of the puzzle fully together. We go through that last bardo, that last ego death. We surrender as we're being remade in a way that is more radical than we've ever been remade before. Right? We had this puzzle box, the puzzle pieces in this last part of the Return to Divine Blueprint are the most radical pieces, and they're the ones that go all the way to the core of the puzzle and start permeating it with liquid plasma light, changing every puzzle piece into a glittering plasma, shining life form that we couldn't see when we started that puzzle. We're changing the nature of the puzzle itself, right? We're changing the nature of the matter of our body itself as we come to that final crossing. And that's when we get really surreal symptoms. Some of us are like dissolving, right? Our physical bodies are becoming quasi-physical, so much so that we dissolve sometimes and then reappear. That's starting to happen to my friends. I haven't had that happen to me yet. Close. And then we really just become these emissaries of this higher love. Our hearts are now refracting light, and we are becoming stars, right? Our star human, dragon star human template is really coming into being as the Christed dragons are living through us, right? We are the dragons now, the stars, the creators. And yet we're still in human bodies. We're still in quasi-human physical bodies that feel separate. But we feel our clear role that we're playing in the mind of God to celebrate and uplift all creation. We feel our role as dancers in this great dance. We know where we live on the land. We know the people that are in our core community. We feel and hear the call of the one telling us to go places, to co-create things, to magnify the joy in this great one body of God that is humanity. And this is where we're going. We're going toward this reunion and celebration. And it can be scary to let go of what we know. But if we can just have faith that we are being carried to a beautiful shore, more beautiful than we can even imagine. So just sending so much love. I'm going through this so much right now. For me, starting as a child of the universe, being fully remade from the ground up And for those of you, wherever you are in this journey, right, we are in this together. We are all becoming this great divine blueprint within our own human bodies and within our collective global brain of this beautiful planet. So thanks for listening and sending so much love. Feel free to get in touch if you need healing. I love to help midwife people through these times, through these times when they're being unmoored. Through song, through sound healing, through light language, through gene keys, through intuitive connection to our star family. Whatever is called for, we bring forth in the session. Through processing traumas, through helping to clear, let go the rope of the old anchor, bring in more puzzle pieces, which means more soul retrieval, right? Okay. Much love to all. You can find me at sarahhopeadams.com to schedule an informational session, which is free. And you can schedule a session, although also the links are there for my Calendly page. Okay. Much love and many blessings on this great journey of ever more becoming our authentic selves. I'll see you in the reunion and celebration. Every moment we celebrate our unity is that moment with the trees, with the flowers, with each other. Bye for now. So much for joining us, everyone. You'll find links to resources mentioned in the show notes. The intro music was Let Yourself Be Awash in a Sea of Love, which you can find at sarahadams1.bandcamp.com. And the outro music is Mother Song. You can also find that on Children of the Earth CD at sarahadams1.bandcamp.com. And if you'd like to schedule a healing session, you can go to my website, sarahhopeadams.com. So thanks so much for joining us, and we will see you in the next episode.
Mother, flow the golden raindrops from your loving hand. Mother, feel me dance upon your warm brown land. Mother, blow